Inviting all divine beings who wish to receive messages of love, peace, and support today. Okay. If you wish to connect more with my energies, I will be able to read more specifically for you and pull you into this. But this is a collective reading, which means that each of you will be involved in it, and you'll be able to take whatever pieces are for you and apply them to your specific situation. Okay? And if you want to ask about specific topics or you have specific things coming up, I invite you to share those things in the comments, and I will be able to pull them into the collective reading. But I won't be talking to you once I start the reading. If anybody got all of that and wants to help the new people as they show up mid-reading, I would appreciate that, to let people know that this reading is for them. If they're asking questions, I am seeing those questions and I am including them in the collective reading. Okay, let us begin. Connecting now to the highest and purest frequencies to bring us messages of support and love as we move forward, to support our journeys today. Inviting the angelic frequencies to offer us the highest perspectives possible. Inviting the goddess frequencies to come through, to move through us, to express herself through us, and to remind us that we are one with Divine Source Creator. Creatress. All right, our first cards to give us a general tone for the solstice energies coming up. We have two cards, both upright. Very nice, very, gentle moving. So we have the Four of Pentacles to remind us that our stability is really our highest priority right now. So learning how to focus in on our stability gives us the chance to allow the other things to blossom. It's like you can fill up the table if the table is sturdy, but if the table has a leg missing and is falling over, then as soon as you start putting things on the table, they'll just continue to fall off. So we have to get this part straight first before we can start adding things to the table. And this is really beautiful. This is foundational, right? The challenge with this one is that we can tend to get kind of stuck in that and feel like, okay, now I found my stability, so now I have to stay the same. But actually, once we find our stability, that's when we're ready to grow. So it's important not to get stuck at this place. The second general energy for solstice is the Five of Cups, a change in our emotions and in our love realities. It's, again, a feeling of relief, but this one has a little bit of an edge to it because it's a change. And we can sometimes be resistant to changes. So, yeah, this is really giving us permission to find a different version, right? We're learning how to feel something that's more aligned with us rather than living in the old stories. I also like the progression of the 4 to the 5. So this looks really beautiful to me, like a peaceful stepping stone. I see it as stepping stones that are in water. And so yeah, like we're navigating where to step exactly, that we can use that to move us into the next piece as well. Really beautiful. And let's see some messages of guidance here, because there's that edge for sure of like the challenge of the change, especially in relation to our emotions and love, collaboration. So let's look at what that is. The Six of Swords. Yeah, it's a sort of mental illusion. And these cards are for you, by the way. The mental illusion is almost addictive, right? We get so used to the illusion that we think it's real. So again, we have the progression of the numbers. We had 4, 5, now 6, all in different suits. So it's very encompassing, you know, like every area of our life is experiencing this with the solstice. But the challenge really is around this illusionary kind of piece, right? Where we see something that is mirroring back to us, whether that's a person or, you know, our job or whatever it is. We're seeing this reflection, but the illusion is that we think that we are separate from it. We think that the reflection we're getting from the external world is random. We don't realize that it's actually a mirror reflecting what's happening for us internally. So this is finally our permission to see that truth. You know, we're seeing through the illusion. We see also the mirror now, right? We see two versions of ourselves, the internal and the external. So because we're seeing it, we're able to be more intentional with it. And it allows us to be able to direct it because, yeah, I mean, not only are we aware that we were in an illusion before, but we're aware of how to leave that illusion now. So that's really cool. And in relation to the forward progression, there's these two sides of things. It's like a fork in the road where something, there's one of them. Something comes up that seems to be exactly what we're looking for. And then there's another version of it that's a mirror and opposite version. So actually, you know, they could be in either order, but there's two options either way. And one of them is an illusion of the other, a mirrored illusion. So this is the one that came up while I was talking about the illusion. This one is the Four of Cups. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So around the concept of love, we have this idea that we have to honor the love that we used to have by focusing on it. And what happens is that we actually are so intertwined in our grief that we're not seeing the love that is currently present because we're so obsessed with the love that used to be. This one's a huge relief to allow to click as well. So this is the illusionary piece, right? The one where we're trapped in a state of grief and collapse, where we think that we're on the path, but we're not. It's a very confusing and challenging place to be. So that's one of our options. And then the second path it's interesting because this one, you know, first glance, this one's like, oh, that one looks right, but this is the illusion. And this one looks like a challenge because it's in reverse. And even the way, like the statue is quite stagnant kind of feeling, like rigid, or, you know, it doesn't have as much life kind of movement to it. So it's interesting that this is the one that's actually the aligned path. So let's look at that. The Three of Pentacles in reverse is invitation into collaboration. So there's some sort of co-creation that is wanting to move through you that you're not currently working with. So when this collaboration does come through and you give yourself permission to look into it, then we will actually move through it. Then we will move into the next step. Then it comes upright, and then we're actually celebrating, right? So anybody asking questions in the comments, thank you so much, because your comments are informing what I'm reading. I do see them, and you can apply what I'm saying to you, okay? So we have these two paths, we have these two options. One of them appears as an illusion, but we think it's right. And then the other one appears more kind of stagnant, but it's actually aligned. So let's look at the aligned one, because that's the one that we're going to go down. I think the illusion is fairly clear. If we need to get into the illusion, we can. Again, with a reverse though, right? It's like, we know that if we take this path of collaboration, that it leads us to our kingdom, our queendom. We know that. Empire. But the part of us that's still obsessed with what we don't have, that part of us is reversing the energy. Once we give ourselves permission to choose something different, to walk away from the illusion, to believe that there is more available for us, then we get to have true co-creation, and we get to live in this state of fertility, power, self-empowerment, right? Ooh, okay, let's look at the empowerment around the Empress energy. Oh, so pretty. The Ace of Swords comes as a very clear directive. And it speaks through us. We might see it first or hear it as something external, but this is showing up as a expression, something that's moving through us. Kind of like the ray of light. It kind of has this like penetrative kind of feeling. It's not something outside of us, it's something that we're experiencing. And so the communication that comes with it, the offer, the new start, is something that we speak into reality. So this is something you have to actually choose and actively play with. All right, let's see what the angels have to say about that, because that's pretty clear. So let's look at this new piece of communication coming through for us, through us, with Solstice. I see it very much as the seed of Solstice that is going to carry us through into the golden age and the full transition into Pluto and Aquarius in May next year. So this piece about the clearer communication, start of that is supporting our movement, right? Supporting us to be the most aligned when we are going through that transition. Pluto transitioning is no joke. It's a very intense energy with a lot of this death and rebirth energy around it. So true love, Number 30. So it's the same card as the Empress, not surprising. 3 with a 0 at the end, though, so a little bit different. And this one is a once in a lifetime love. I'll let you guys look at the card because there's so many little cute details on there. With the Empress and this path that is the most aligned, we are also receiving love. These things are so intertwined. They're actually the same energies, just with multiple reflections. Fractions is the way that it came through. I don't really know what that means, but it looked like fractions, like reflections, right? So different angles of light reflecting off the same gem, but it has multiple facets. And so it reflects in different directions, right? So the change that we're going through, this path of alignment, where we're collaborating, we're co-creating, not only is that in relation to our personal realities and our sense of security and fulfillment, but it's also in relation to these very base topics like true love. It's so funny to call it a base topic, but you know, it's one of those things that all of us want to feel love, all of us yearning for love, right? So it is quite radical to actually allow it to come through and to believe that it's possible for us to receive it. Thank you, angels. And now we're just looking into the goddess frequencies a little bit closer. This is the Rose Oracle. We're looking at the inward spiral and the reflection that that has externally. So when we're in this place, we have followed this path. We're seeding in Solstice, collaboration, co-creation, true love, the Empress fertility. So we're seeding these energies into our being as we move into Solstice this week. And if you want support with this, you want to go deeper with your own versions of it to seed Solstice the most effectively for you, then I would encourage you to get my readings, which I have on half price right now to support us moving through Solstice. But the energy is so powerful. So we're beginning to understand how potent that is and to give ourselves permission to tune in to the truth of it. Specifically, the truth that we deserve it, that we're worthy of it. Our dreams, right? Our realities. This new reality that we're creating. The most important piece is our deservingness. Do we really believe that we deserve it? So let's look at the Rose Oracle and the messages from the ancient temples and the Mary Magdalene lineage to see what we need to know about that transition, this seed that we are planting for Solstice. I have morning dew, clarity, fresh start, and a positive outlook. So this is a bit about how with Solstice. Clarity first, because our mind needs to be sharp. So if there's anything that you know is currently degrading your ability to be sharp in your mind, to have clarity, then this is a message to clear that. I am seeing some toxic relationships where you feel confusion. Okay, that's not contributing to this. I'm also seeing, for some people, it's not an external thing. It's just looping in your mind, like a mind maze. Okay, that's going to also block your clarity. So you need to clear that as well. I recommend writing out your stream of consciousness to help to clear the mental space. And then a fresh start and a positive outlook. Yes. The starting piece, we already know, we're seeding, right? But I love this energy of the morning dew. So according to some of my education, the ancient Chinese medicine, Taoist medicine that came from ascended masters, right, in relation to our physical bodies, they teach that the morning dew, to put your feet, your bare feet on morning dew every morning, and to do your practices, we're talking about Tai Chi, right? We're practicing this on, or yoga, we're practicing this on the earth with our feet in the dew, is specifically the most powerful time and way to offer medicine to our physical bodies. It's not just about the timing and our circadian rhythm, it's also about the electromagnetic frequencies of our bodies. Our electromagnetic frequencies are conducted through water, and so there are certain materials that block the conductivity. For example, rubber soles on our shoes prevent us from being able to have an electromagnetic connection to the earth. So this practice of going barefoot is one, so that we can actually have that connection. And then the dew, the morning dew, is very specific as well, because it is able to conduct electricity even stronger. And there's also this really beautiful medicinal quality to the dew that is, it's got this like magical nectar type of feeling, like all of the energy throughout the night that had been collecting and maybe not being utilized because people are sleeping, here it is in the morning, ready and available for us. So that's very interesting. I'm curious how it's going to come up continuing in the reading, but right now I'm seeing it in combination with the seed, right? So we have the seed and we have the moisture of the dew, which is a nourishing energy. Yeah, really beautiful. And the positive outlook is a very conscious choice that we're making. You know, a lot of us have experienced quite intense levels of fear in our life or anxiety. So to be able to feel excitement and to want to start something new is a huge relief to us, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the moon a little bit, because I know moving into this coming full moon, which is not, it's not quite yet, but we are moving towards it. I know that a lot of people are going to have probably the biggest challenges of the year during that full moon in December. So I do want to offer some support for us in preparing for that. The seeding that we're doing on Solstice is that, but there's more. So after we seeded, the seed isn't necessarily going to grow unless we actually are nourishing it. And the full moon is a time when all of the parasitic attacks come in. And so if your seed is not protected and nourished and strong enough, and you're opening yourself to the psychic realm of the parasitic attachments, then that will come in and it will attack your seed. So you need to know a variety of things here in order to be able to actually bring that seed to fruition. So let's look about the psychic protection for the coming full moon. Interesting that it's a crescent moon on the picture. Play is my pathway to joy, number 23, which is a 5. So it's a change in our ability to experience this. She also looks like the Hanged Man. I love that. So there's this understanding that when we flip our realities, we're actually upgrading. It's like a glitch in the matrix where you flip your reality and you realize that you were dreaming. You thought you were awake. But once it flips upside down, then you see the reality. So play is my pathway to joy, is a reminder, like the strongest way that you can protect yourself is by enjoying yourself. Joy, the frequency of joy, is the strongest protective energy. This is such a contrast to the masculine way of protection, of course. So let's just clarify the difference here. Instead of fighting back, what we're doing is we're bringing in energies that are really beautiful and they're not compatible to the challenges. So instead of fighting the challenge, we are arriving with something that the challenge doesn't like, and so it will let itself out. This is a conversation about feminine energy in general, about how to make life easier on us, right? And also about how to be more effective. You could have, the way that I see it is really cool. You could have warriors, masculine warriors arriving with their swords and their shields, and they're ready to lose their lives for this battle. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that I absolutely, respect every protector that exists out there. And the masculine form is so different than the feminine. So for the feminine, what we could do instead, you could have an entire army of warriors that will not be successful in fighting this battle. But you could have one woman arrive and say something to the leader of the other opposing army that instantly pulls him into his heart and reminds him what his true purpose is and helps him to realize that fighting is not it. So you see how the fight back is not necessarily the most effective form of protection. So instead of planting the seed and then creating armor and barrier to protect it, what we're doing is we're planting the seed and then we're surrounding it with joy. And any negative forces that come towards this are going to be repelled because our force of play, of joy is so strong that that negative interference can't affect us. I would also love to just give you a different perspective of the same topic in relation to the physical body and the nervous system. If you're feeling a lot of anxiety, which is a symptom of a psychic attack, then the impulse, again, the natural, what we're used to, how to deal with that is to try to fight back, right? Okay, I'm gonna, do something different and try to think something else and, try to fight back. And it can be pretty frustrating because it's not very effective. The other version of it that we're now leaning into is instead, so we might feel this anxiety, we might feel the challenge, and what we do instead of festering in it or trying to fight it is we allow it to be there. Okay, why is this anxiety here today? Is it something that is pointing me to a truth, or is it an illusion? Is there something that needs to adjust, right? So I can make that adjustment. Okay, now the anxiety is gone. Perfect. Or is it something that's just an illusion? Oh, okay, there's nothing actually to fear here. I'm in a state of safety. So how do I protect myself from this anxiety? The most effective way you can do it is to create a new story, pattern a new story. Playing is an instant way to subconsciously communicate to your system that you're safe. And so instead of trying to do this, mental acrobatics, you can just start playing a game and instantly your nervous system will respond to a feeling of safety, because you wouldn't be playing if you were at war. Let's look at a little bit of spell work. So I do see this play and this joy as the main rituals around the solstice. And I am excited about how to work with that energy and how to infuse our seeds that we're planting with this beautiful, joyful energy. So let's just see in the spell deck any details about the rituals that are going to be aligned for solstice. 8 and destiny. I see a dewdrop. Do you see the little dewdrop right there? It's so cute. So, okay. 8, first of all, is the number of the self, right? We are coming back to realizing that this seed, this expression of ourselves, of our divinity, is a reflection of us. It's not something external to us. We are this. And so our nourishment of the seed that we're creating, our projects, our ideas, is the same as nourishing ourselves. And the destiny comes in because, so this is about imposter syndrome. Destiny comes in to remind us that whatever our natural impulses are leading us to, our desires, our deep soul desires, those are leading us to our destiny. You see the path? We can follow the path by following what feels good on the deepest layers. I don't mean superficially. I don't mean a dopamine hit. I mean, this is my soul calling, and I am certain, and everything about it is benefiting me and everyone around me. That's a true soul desire. A full body, everything inside of you saying F yes. That's a true soul calling. And when we follow that, we naturally fall into our destiny. 8 is also a number of abundance because when we are focused on ourselves like this, we're nourishing this seed that we're creating. We are focused on ourselves. Then what happens, you see it's reflected in the sun. We have the body here, and then we have the aura here. We have your actions right here. We have how it impacts other people here. And so by focusing on yourself and your seed and nourishing that, you have this radiating effect where you're able to positively influence everybody around you, even without talking to them, even without necessarily being in their presence, right? It's so, so powerful. But again, this is one of those topics that is misunderstood because the idea of focusing on ourselves has been demonized. I'm going to say it's mostly by, religious institutions telling us that God is outside of us, right? And so we have this disconnection from our sacred reality. So as we're beginning to integrate these parts of ourselves, we're pulling ourselves back together, we're seeing that we are the Son. We are the Son of God. We are able to radiate love if we first focus on ourselves to the point where we become radiant, right? And another check, a little bit deeper, receiving some support, pulling back into the bigger picture of the solstice again, to receive support from Goddess Iset to bring us some messages as well as some soul language. So if anybody is interested to receive the soul language, I do encourage you to listen from the heart, right? The mind is not going to be able to understand it, but the heart will. It's similar to subliminals as well, where it doesn't access the conscious mind, it accesses the unconscious mind. So it's really beautiful and will support us in the embodiment of these energies so that it's not just a concept, it's something we actually feel and something that we actually experience. So Iset comes through with a proper burial for freedom, sacrifice to Osiris, Lord of the Dead. Okay, we just had Osiris come up and I didn't call it out, but you can see right here, we have the sun setting or rising. I'm going to say rising because of the dewdrop. And the rising sun is a reference to the Christos story, which is originated from the story of Osiris. And Osiris is the god of the rising sun, same way as Jesus Christ is, Yeshua. So the burial means that we have to let go of the old story in order for the new one to come. We have to go through the nighttime before the day comes. The burial is saying goodbye to the old stories. And the full moon is really the best support for this. So after you plant your seeds in solstice and then we come into the full moon, you might notice at the full moon that any of those sabotage kind of things will start to rise, and your ability to bury those old sabotages is going to determine your level of freedom here. I also want to note the colors. We have, you see the sun and the moon for sure, but I also see the contrast, right? We have opposites. So again, this story of illusion comes in. Which side is which? Which is the one that I want to be in, right? And this is particularly relevant for those parasitic or psychic attacks that are so much stronger during full moons, because they often appear as illusions, which is why they can be so tricky, because the parasite, the false light, arrives very similar to the actual prophet. But there's an illusion from one of them and an authenticity to the other. The illusion appears as a surface level truth with an underlying deception. So the main energy of it is deception. And that's the parasitic attack. That's the sabotage. And that deception is the key, because the deception is the only way that they have access to us. If we believe the deception, if we believe the illusion, then we become attached to it and we start to build energies with it. And we don't even know that we're building with deceptive energies because we're in a state of illusion. Again, the most powerful way to protect ourselves from these energies is to enforce and strengthen the opposite energy within ourselves. It doesn't help to fight back, but what does help is ingraining and nourishing joy and play in our lives, so that when the illusion comes around, we can spot it, because we are attuned to what true joy and peace feels like. And so when the illusion arrives, it looks like it's real, but we can feel that it's not. We can feel that it's not real because we have practiced with what is real so much that there's no doubt in our minds about what it is and what it isn't. So we're no longer duped into thinking that something is what it's not, right? We're no longer targets for narcissistic energies when we're at this level. And this is a beautiful way for this to come up, actually, because we often want to talk, especially as sensitives, as empaths, about how to protect ourselves from the narcissistic energies. The amount of empaths who have had relationships with narcissists tells us that this is a challenge for us. So if we are able to spot which of these energies are illusions and deceptive, compared to which are authentic and sustainable, this gives us permission to change our reality completely. But there's a level beyond that where not only are we able to see the deception, but we actually become repellent to the deception. And this is where I'm at in my experience now, where not only can I spot an abuser or somebody who has negative intentions, not only can I call it out and ask it to leave effectively, but I also personally no longer have those energies wanting to get into my field. They don't even try anymore because they're not an energetic match to where I'm at. This state of trying to discern illusion from reality is, it's no longer a relevant topic. And so it becomes something that's happening subconsciously because it's built in now. So that's really where we want to be. And, you know, of course, I'm not complete in that mission. There's always more to learn. But it is such a huge relief when we are so sturdy in ourselves that we're no longer targets for people who want to manipulate others because they can see that we're not manipulatable. One more card from Isis, and then we'll bring in the soul language with this one, okay? Divine Destiny, Path of the Divine Warrior. Yeah, we already knew that. Destiny already came up. The warrior already came up. So yeah, we are repeating at this point, which is fine. But I love the falcon in this one. The falcon reminds us of the ability to see the big picture and also to be able to narrow our focus, to be really accurate and precise, to be able to have this like attack, right? They're a bird of prey. They do use their eyes to find the prey and to attack. So it is a warrior energy for sure. But again, the message isn't about fighting so much as it is our ability to see, right? The ability to step back, to look at the big picture, and then to focus in on one detail and to be able to accurately define that is really, really beautiful. Let's just bring that into our bodies and ingrain that a little bit into our physical realities through some soul language, channeling the language of the goddess to come through to support ourselves in really feeling the truth of the seeds that we're planting and of how we can nourish them, knowing that this is our true destiny and our birthright to bring these beautiful energies into the planet, knowing that we are so divinely supported and protected from any negative external or internal forces by allowing, welcoming, and nourishing joy into our lives. Keshia kolea, no koea siasa, ne kasala isokea, ni kasa ia inakarayanata. From the sacral energy specifically, noticing our sexual energies as powerful and learning how to keep those energies for ourselves, for our highest realities, for our families, so that we're able to bring these beautiful seeds of visions of the golden age into the physical reality. Kwe no keila shalakia, nekeseleya, nekesaladata, isolea atati shela mbakaya sea ayakorenda karea. This is very much about our abilities to use our voices to actually circulate the energies through our voice boxes, through our bodies, to say, no, we do not consent, to say, yes, we choose this one. There is so much power that lies in our vocal cords, in our abilities to use our voices to spell our realities, to create spells, to create our realities. Gweno lea, isa le ese ayena, I crea na crea, I sorolo era. No shola ala sea ayena creana. We must at this time choose to see reality by choosing to look at even the darkest parts. We will be surprised to know that we can see in the darkness. Queno le aya ishona akare isala ina kriena makoya isola geana kaya say once we connect the ability to see with the heart and with the sacral energy, we now have full coherency and full protection around this seed that we are creating. Gweno jola, gwea kaya, kaya na a. We empower this truth by anchoring our umbilical cord to the solar frequencies of the solar sun, of the Venusian energies, and of our spiritual sun in Sirius. Gweno shole ase aikea, nearea itasai airamba, ikweshala inaria, ikwasha a karembaka awea. Knowing that our hearts are able to access the highest realities. And so as we choose to step into this highest reality, our hearts are very much opening, expanding, and having this Care Bear blasting feeling as well, as we allow ourselves to feel more resonance with the truth of abundance, peace, and light. And so we are opening ourselves to these realities by planting them in ourselves first, by nourishing them, protecting them as the sacred truth that they are. And as they move into the Aquarian age more and more with this peak energy in May, we can expect a fruition of the seed that we are planting in Solstice to come through in May next year. Queshone akayale aya kruina isala yata isara irdana iguela shole asia ikaramba iya ishono koreanda kasa aya so ai noe kara. When we align the vision in the mind with the truth that we speak, then we are able to access this reality where truth cuts through any of the illusion. And so if illusion does arrive through a simple word from us, illusion can be shattered. Kweno haya, isala ayana, ikaraya, isola aisaya, ikaneya siya. It is time to stop avoiding the lower chakras. The parts of ourselves that have been living in shadows are now asking to be seen and integrated. Any parts of us that feel resistant to the truth of our divine nature is asking to clear and to move through, especially the lower chakras, to embed in us this truth about who we really are as divine beings. Kwenoea karea, isonoia, ikwea sala mpa isele ea, no kreanda saya, tueshala ikarean, ikrea to krea, ireta pare asakana, akrea pa ia, ikorana asala o amba ki. Inside of the root and the sacral chakra, you may be surprised if you have been avoiding it, that there is actually a deeply, deeply peaceful and secure and safe place that lives within us in this area of our bodies. And although we might have been avoiding it or it might have been infested, we are now realizing that it is by our presence that any negative energies are asked to leave. It is through our joy that we become repellent to any negative energies. And so as we live in a state of peace with our sacral energies, we are no longer susceptible to the illusions or to the harvesting and manipulating of our sacred energy. Offering deep, deep gratitude for your presence, for your willingness to choose the beauty rather than the suffering. Deep, deep gratitude for the messages from Goddess that come through for us constantly in our physical reality. Deep, deep gratitude to all of our teachers for offering us their wisdom and their challenges as lessons for our own ascension. Deep, deep gratitude to ourselves for our choices, for our willingness to face the challenges, and for our willingness to choose to be here in order to bring new realities of truth and love into this planet at this time of war. Sending peace to all of the souls who are transitioning at this time. Sending clarity to all of the people in illusion who wish to see through it. And sending abundance to all of the beautiful soul family who are ready to utilize the abundance to bring more beauty and love into our planet. This shift, this transition in May is partially a financial transition of allowing the power of money and abundance to arrive into the hands of people who want to use it for good, who want to use money to support people, to help, to bring love, to bring food, to nourish, and to spread the beauty. We offer ourselves to be a part of this beautiful mission, to receive and to give, to expand our fields and our abilities. We offer ourselves as the sacrifice, the old versions of ourselves having to die in order to become pure vessels of love on this planet. We offer ourselves to receive the joy and the peace that our planet needs so that we can overflow with this and we can spread it to those around us who we love and those who are our soul families. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for claiming this beautiful energies. If you would like to receive personal support, I do have solstice readings, clearings, and activations, all on half price right now to support this very, very potent time. I want as many people as possible to be able to seed and support and nourish and protect whatever you are bringing into this planet so that by May we can all receive this fruition of this energy together. If you need support, please know you are not alone. We do not have to be alone. The story of the hermit is from the age of Pisces, not from the age of Aquarius. We're stepping into realities now that are fully co-creative. We are collective. We are working together. We understand now the Indigenous always had it accurate, that healing comes in communities, not in isolation. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much.